So the thing with workplace bullying is there's a lot of bad advice out there, and you've probably been subjected to this yourself. And you maybe have been struggling with this for a while, and all you really want to do is get away from feeling fearful and like you don't belong anymore, and you just want to get some solid advice that you can actually implement so you can feel like you belong again. You can feel safe again. You can feel at peace again. Some of the most common problems that we see in the workplace is that the people who don't have it figured out, but they look like they have it all figured out, are the ones that we're going to for advice. And when they start to share with us their best, well-intentioned advice, it actually doesn't help. So I'm going to share with you today the 3 worst pieces of advice that I have seen and heard in the workplace, and how they are actually working against the person to resolve conflict. And now while I share this advice, you might be thinking to yourself, oh wait, I've done that and it actually worked. I'm going to challenge you to go a little step farther, and if it truly did work for you and you were able to leave this relationship in a good place for both you and the other person, or you were able to let go of the problem because you were able to go, you know what, this isn't such a big deal, then fantastic. That can work for you, but I will share with you probably 9 times out of 10. This is just an off-the-cuff stat from the people I've worked with. This advice leaves people feeling empty and hollow and frustrated. Hi, I am Tammy, and I am your guide to mastering courageous communication so that you can confidently handle difficult conversations, offensive and disruptive behaviors, and even workplace bullying with one conversation. And I want you to do it with a confidence that you know that when you speak up and speak out, you're not only retaining your hard-earned reputation, but you're building the career where you are seen as someone who is appreciated, respected, and empowered. Now, before we get in too far, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss the next video when it's released. And you can then stay up to date with the information that is designed to help you retain your reputation, keep your career on track, and get you back to living a peaceful, productive life. So in this video, I'm going to be exposing the worst advice you can receive, or if you're on the giving end, I want you to notice what you're sharing with people, because I want you to be able to resolve interpersonal problems with interpersonal solutions. Now, I've been teaching communication skills for years, and I have helped thousands of people step into these courageous moments and speak in a way that is non-defense arousing and in a way that has actually resolved some of the biggest, scariest issues in a single conversation. And that is what I want for you as well. So let's get into our worst advice, shall we? Worst advice number 1. Keep your head down and just ignore it. Now let me tell you why this is bad advice. First of all, it puts you in a position where you're continually at risk of being belittled, ignored, humiliated, having your career sabotaged, all with the false pretense that by keeping your head down, somehow it's magically going to go away. And the problem is it doesn't. So then what we tend to do is we come up with strategies to cope. And I'm going to share some of them, and let me know in the comments below if you recognize that you've done any of these. What we start to do when we heed the advice to just keep our head down and avoid the problem and it will just all magically go away is we change how we show up. Literally, we will start to consider which door we use in the workplace, which hallway, whether we take the stairs or the elevator. We'll start to look at what time are we coming in and what time are we leaving. We'll start to change where we take lunch break and who we sit with. We start to adapt our meetings and the committees that we decide to join because we don't want to be around them. And everything that we're doing is all preventative in order to keep us safe, but it's actually emotionally extremely draining. It is exhausting to put on the brave face and go to work every day trying to avoid. It takes enormous effort. And it wastes very valuable time that we have where we could be contributing in a very creative and passionate way in the workplace. And as a result, we start to isolate ourselves more because all of those strategies are failing us. We're still left with all the time to ruminate in our brain about how scary the other person is and how much we need to protect and close in our world. So we isolate. We feel alone. we don't feel valued, we don't feel protected in our own workplace. And we've contributed to this by taking on this advice of avoiding and ignoring. The second thing is, it does nothing to build our competencies in having conversations that are difficult. If you have been given this advice before, let me know in the comments below. This is probably the most common advice that people hear when it comes to resolving tension among others. Whether this is at home, in the family, or at work, it doesn't really matter. This is the best somebody can muster up because they don't step into these conversations themselves. So recognize that. But let me know in the comments below if you have received this advice too. So next, let's look at the worst advice that you can be given, number 2. And that is to don't speak up, don't fight back, stay quiet, and don't stand up for yourself. Now, why is this bad? Well, what they're communicating to you, first of all, is that they don't have any faith in you to do this. They don't believe you have the skill set to resolve the issue. And by collateral damage, they don't want to be associated with your attempts to try and resolve the issue. Their self-preservation, they're hoping to preserve you as well, but they're not actually helping you solve the problem, which is what you're looking for hope, what you're looking for support with, and hope. Now, there are times when shutting up and not speaking is the right next step. We don't have to engage in every battle we are invited to. And so there is strategic decision making around if you use this strategy to not speak up. Should you choose to not speak up and you go away and it's still festering inside of you, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're getting anxious, maybe even hypervigilant, then you know this was not the right advice for this problem. And this typically is what happens. It's happened to me. I remember when I was being bullied, I wanted to put in a grievance. So I'm following the policies of the workplace, which is what I recommend people to do. But as I was preparing to submit it, somebody in my leadership team, in their best intention to protect me, said, if you file this paperwork, you will look like you're the one who can't get along. And that infuriated me because I'm like, this is a problem in the culture of this organization. I happen to be the target, but this is a big problem. I submitted my paperwork anyways. But the fact that they shared that, there's a few things that they may have been trying to communicate. They may have actually been saying to me, you are the problem, wake up, and not been direct. The other thing is they may have been trying to protect me by saying, hey, if you go down this route, I have experience in this area, it's just going to get bad, so don't do it. Again, there's a lack of faith that the policy or the processes can actually result in the positive change that you're looking for. Now, if you're at the stage where you have to file a grievance, that's really kind of disappointing. Hopefully we can get to this beforehand, but if you got to use the process, that's what it's designed for you to do, so have no guilt over using that process. So the other piece that happens when you don't speak up, when you heed the advice to keep your mouth shut, is it further intensifies the feeling of rejection and abandonment and feeling devalued. Like you don't have a place where it's safe for you to even say, hey, I got a problem here. I don't know how to handle it. I'm going to do what you tell me to do and I hope we can get to resolution. That it's not even safe for you to do that. It just further disconnects you from the organization. And we know that when people are disconnected from an organization, the quality of work goes down. There's more errors and things just aren't to the standard in which they need to be. So if you're giving this advice, I want you to recognize the potential impact of telling somebody to shut up and not speak up or not stand out. Before we get to mistake number 3, or the worst advice number 3, I want to give you some encouraging advice here, or some encouraging stats. Back in 2005, I think it was, VitalSmart surveyed 1,700 healthcare workers. And they were looking at these very difficult moments where people chose not to speak up or they chose to speak up, and the impact it would have on relationships, trust, patient care, and outcomes. Now there's a lot in there I could share with you, but what I want to share with you here, and I hope you sit with this, is that in every unit what they found was there was like a small percentage of people, maybe 5-10%, of people who would take the opportunity when it came to them to have a courageous conversation, to speak into a problem, to bring something to light. And of those moments, 85% of the time they resolved the issue with a single conversation. Now, when you have the odds of 85% of the time on your side for speaking into a problem, it's very counterintuitive to tell somebody to not speak up. Now, it's not just in that report. I have experienced this myself, and I have seen this in others who, in the most difficult circumstances, what feels like an impossibility to do, have stepped into it and have resolved their problems single-handedly with one conversation. They just needed to know how to start. And that's often what people are missing. When you get this bad advice, it's because no one has taught them either how to resolve conflict. Now, I also wanted to share with you the problem of telling somebody to not speak up or to just avoid it. It's the same problem. There's no development of communication skills. There is no growth. There's no opportunities to try something, fail, learn, and try again. It's simply just don't do. And if we don't do, we'll never learn what we can do. There's an unlimited potential out there for you, and I want you to tap into that. Now let's talk about the worst advice, number 3. And this one will seem very benign. You may not even recognize it as bad advice because it doesn't seem to have the same kind of bite, but I'm going to expose it here for you right now. If you say, or if you have been told to simply just get along, try to just get along, that is horrible advice. When it comes to just getting along, there's some fundamental problems I have with this advice, and one is that there is a disinterest in them helping you. You know, when someone says, just get along, like, I don't have any time for this is an issue I'm not interested in, and you can just figure this out on your own. It's really an abandonment of supporting you. Now, my supervisor, so like 2 levels up, I went to them for support, and I did get a conversation with one at a time. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what I was told was, you know what, just get along. Try harder to get along. The implication was that I wasn't trying enough because I'm the one bringing forward the grievance. I'm the one with the complaints. I am the one that is highlighting and showcasing and shining a light on problematic conversations. So it's extremely frustrating. It makes people feel like they can't trust anybody, that there is no support in the organization. And then you're left with a couple of decisions. Do I stay or do I go? And there's a few decisions in between there that you can make as well. But essentially on either end of the spectrum is, if this organization doesn't have the resources to support me, am I going to stay in this organization and create the boundaries and the protection I need? Or am I going to leave this organization and move into something different? I will share with you, many people choose to leave, completely fine. Many people choose to stay, completely fine. It's about what are your next steps after you make that decision, because there's work to do on either side. So as you can imagine, with all these 3 types of advice, not a single one of them actually addresses the problem. Interpersonal problems require interpersonal solutions. Medications, stress leave, being sent on a course to write a better email will not resolve the root problem. We absolutely need to have conversations because conversations matter, and they're at the heart of the workplace. Now, I want to just share with you, you don't have to agree with somebody's experience to be helpful. And I want to address that because some people think, but I don't agree with what they're saying at all. My experience with that person is completely different. They're really nice, I don't have any issues, and I can't even see them in this light that they're painting them. It doesn't matter whether you agree with them or not. What you can do instead is 1, listen. Hear their struggle, and not just the words they're saying, but what are they not saying? What is their tone of voice sharing? What are they really needing in this moment? Treat them as if you were the person who is struggling. Support them. Validate that the experience that they're bringing is real for them and that you can honor that this has been their journey till date. You don't have to agree with it. Remember, that's not the goal. The goal is to hear them and simply say, hey, I'm really glad you're sharing this with me. I may not know how to help you right now, but I just want to be with you. As a leader, you can say, I don't know how to support you right now. This is a little bit more in depth, or it's over my training, or I don't have the training in this area. Let me connect you with somebody who can really help you. And I want to stay connected. Like, I can support you emotionally, I can support you, job-wise. Maybe we put you on a different team for a while we get you to the place where you can talk. There's lots of resources you can use as a leader to support them with as they journey through and towards resolution. Now, if you're looking for a resource so that you can step in a little bit more, I want to share with you the 10 safe conversational starters. There is a link below that you can pick this up, and it will give you 10 scripts. So it takes the guesswork out of what to say when faced with 10 of the most offensive workplace behaviors that we have. So if someone's sighing and rolling their eyes, you're getting sarcastic comments, someone's backstabbing, or they're even setting you up for failure and sabotaging your career, there are statements you can use to address these behaviors that are designed to not escalate defensive responses, but they are designed to either shut down the bad behavior or open up a conversation around it. Now, this is a great starting point. If you yourself are the target, get this resource. If you are someone who's often finding that people come to you for advice, get this resource. It can be used to help them build their competencies in having courageous communication. If you are a leader, get this resource. It will position you in a place where you can actually help them role play and work through some of the elements and put these words in their vocabulary so they can solve their problems at the lowest level while you support them in your role as a leader. You can change your circumstances. You can courageously have conversations around difficult things and be the difference in your life. Now, if you're looking for more support beyond this, I do offer coaching. I have a few one-to-one spots that I offer, but I also have a group coaching program. And if you are looking to access more support, deeper resources to help you get things done faster, there's a link below where you can book a consultation call with me. It's free. We'll talk about your situation, what you need. If you are a good fit for the program, 100% I'll invite you in. If you are not, 100% you're going to walk away with some tools and strategies to move to the next step while you prepare yourself to enter into a resource like this. For the rest of you, I hope you've enjoyed this and you find this supportive. Make sure you're subscribing again. Share this with 5 people. Listen, we're all in the workplace, and you know that the workplace is fraught with tension and conflict. Share this video with 5 people, and let's elevate the practice of those around us together. This way we can help work to decrease the negative chronic conflict, the negative chronic effects of conflict in the workplace, and get the world back to being more peaceful. That is my mission, to change the way relationship is done, one conversation at a time. Please make your comments below. I love to hear from you, and I do answer back. And like this video. It helps YouTube know to share this out with others who may be looking for this exact message.